Hey guys, what's going on? So today I have an album review that I'm kind of excited to do because it's one of my favorite albums ever, pretty much, that I got like 2 weeks ago. I've been a fan of this album for a couple of years, and it's one of my favorite albums of all time, and there's a lot of shit to talk about. There's a lot of depth with this album and stuff. And Pig Destroyer with PROWLER in the Yard. I showed this off in my last collection update, and I figured I need to do a review talking about this because there's so much shit about this album to talk about, because instrumentally, lyrically, concept-wise, it's very fucking interesting, and it's a perfect album in my opinion. Like, this is one of my favorite albums ever, alongside, you know, the albums that I talk about all the time, like Rain and Blood, None So Vile, fucking Black Flag's My War, Dying Fetus, Destroy the Opposition, Morbid Angels, either Blessed or Sick or Covenant. I'm actually starting to like Covenant a little more than Blessed or Sick, but that's besides the point. This is one of my favorite albums, like, ever, and fucking love it. So I guess we'll talk about the packaging first, because this is a really nice CD reissue from I believe like 2015 whenever they did the remaster for this album. But this has both the remaster and the original in it, you'll see. But there's the album cover. It's pretty fucking cool, and there's a dude literally cutting off his own legs. You can't see very well because of the glare and the shining, sorry about that. And then PROWLER in the Yard, and I really like their logo too. Also, that spine, for some reason, it's really cool. I don't know why, it just looks kind of weird and like sketchy. So yeah, and then there's the back. You have the band members and song titles, of course. Jennifer, Cheerleader Corpses, Scatology, Homework, Trojan Horde, Ghost of a Bullet, Heart and Crossbones, Strangled with a Halo, Intimate Slavery, Maplethorn Gray, Tickets to the Car Crash, Naked Trees, voice crack, Sheet Metal Girl, Preacher Crawling, Pornographic Memory, Murder Blossom, Body Scout, Snuff Film at 11, Hyperviolet, Starbelly, Junkyard God, Piss Angel, Jennifer 2, and then an unreleased untitled track. And obviously this is on Relapse Records, so yeah. Here's the back of the booklet. You got a Scott Hole performing live, and if you look closely you can see J.R. Hayes right there. And then there's the disc. This is the remaster remix of the album. I'll be comparing the original, which is back here, since this is a 2-disc set. Spin around so you can see it. And this is the disc, and this is the original mixing of the album, which is much more raw. There's the track listings. The track listing is slightly different. There's like one more song on here that for some reason wasn't on the remaster. But the remix is a lot more refined. It's more, has a little bit more of a low end, because there's no bass on the album. It's just guitar, drums, and vocals. But they added a lot more low end to the guitar, I guess, on the remix. And the vocal parts for some reason sound a lot different. There's even one song on here, I can't remember which one, where there's like extra like vocals in the song that weren't on the original. But the thing is, a lot of people shit on the remaster, but I actually like the remaster, though, probably because it's the first time I heard this album was the remaster, so yeah. Also, let me show the booklet. There's a lot of shit in there. It's a really nice, thick booklet. Pictures. This is beautiful. This is art put from the intro of the album. More pictures of the band. A lot of liner notes. There's like a whole Decibel article in here talking about the album. And, there's an interview, and it's really interesting, especially when it gets more personal about J.R. Hayes' life experience that kind of inspired the lyrics on this album. Which I'll explain the concept in a minute as I go through the book, but there's a specific part that will kind of go over that. But if you know this album, I'm sure you know the concept, but there's just an interview with the band. And there's some quotes and stuff from just liner notes from both J.R. Hayes and Scott Hole. And basically, for J.R. Hayes' liner notes are pretty interesting. He usually just tells like the shit that was going on. Apparently, like, there's a situation with like a girl or something, and like they broke up, and he went kind of nuts. And he just was like a fucking mess. And I guess he was in a dark place around the time that they made this album. So lyrically, that very much inspired this album, which we'll get to the concept of that in a couple minutes or whatever. And it's really interesting too. It's pretty fucked up. Oh, here's those liner notes that'll explain the concept. But the concept of the album is about it's like loosely inspired by that shit with J.R. Hayes that happened in his life. But basically, it's about a dude that breaks up with some girl and then goes really crazy over it and like gets really obsessive, and like he cuts off his fingers every day he's without her. And long story short, basically he like stalks her, and then she goes to her house and like kills her. It's fucking crazy, but I'll just read this whole thing for you guys because it's worth. Because you can't find it online anywhere unless you buy the album. I don't think unless you could just find a picture of it, but this whole thing, so it's pretty weird too. Listening to the rain pound against the roof of the car, I feel dislocated and ghost-like. I am a cadaver bored with its own funeral. The painkillers are making it difficult for me to concentrate. The streetlight to my left flickers for a few moments and then deserts me. I don't know. Ash gray clouds seal off the sky, ensuring that God will not be able to see what I'm about to do. She lives in a small, one-story house on the corner with her mother, who works the graveyard shift at the hospital and won't be home for another 4 hours. Her sleek blue sedan sits crooked and lonely in the driveway. A bed of neglected roses wait patiently for the sunrise. Her bedroom glows gently like a firefly. God, I swear I'm terrible at reading out loud. Like a firefly, and I can see her sexless heroine form moving behind the drawn curtains. She's animated and gesturing wildly with her left arm, probably talking on the phone. She used to make me think of beautiful things like waterfalls and wildflowers, deer frolicking in the snow. Now I can only think of autopsies and taxidermy, mummified Egyptian princesses. I remember how she used to shiver when I would toy with her nipple ring. I remember how she used to keep mouthwash by her bed, scared of her kisses tasting like cigarettes. I remember a white rabbit strung up between two trees, gutted and left to rot. I start whisper singing the Pixies debaser to myself and glance over at the bolt cutters. They are lying on the floor in a puddle of congealed blood and bone splinters. 2 of my left toes and all of my left fingers are piled in the open glove box. 7 digits, 1 for each day we've been apart. I take 2 Vicodins and light up another cigarette. Then I wrap some fresh gauze around my hand. I reach over to the passenger seat and stroke the 9mm lovingly, knowingly. I spent hours carefully drawing her name into each side of the bullet. Tonight I'm going to take Jennifer into my arms and love her into oblivion. So it's pretty fucking screwed up and dark and interesting, honestly. And I'm like 7 minutes in and we haven't even gotten to the actual music, but you have lyrics to all the songs. The lyrics on this album are very much inspired by his life experience, but a lot of them, like, they're very poetic and weird and abstract, and they're really short, obviously. There's hardly any lyrics in any songs, but, like, they're interesting if you, like, read it out, though. Like, fucking, the lyrics to the song, Intimate Slavery are pretty interesting, I find it. Happy birthday, you broken child of the barbed ribs and the poisoned heart. I would show you the view of life from the floor, but the knees are as far as you go. I give you Exhibit A, a country girl bludgeoned with an elephant tusk. I give you everything I have wrapped in a shy kiss for you to use once and then destroy. It's just really weird and, like, symbolic and shit. And all the lyrics, I'm not going to go over all of them, but they're really interesting. But anyways, you know this album, you know how the intro, it's really fucking creepy. There's, like, this computer voice reading this dialogue about some chick named Jennifer. And she's, like, it's able to explain because it doesn't give you in full detail, but she's, like, doing some sort of, like, sexual act in public with some other girl or something like that. It doesn't go into a lot of detail. Then it just says, like, it's just really iconic part where it says, like, right at the end of that intro, it says, "This is beautiful, this is art." But you hear this creepy, like, deep voice, like, laughing in the background, and there's, like, this siren, which you hear in other parts throughout the album, like, blaring quietly in the background. And the album starts and it kicks right into Cheerleader Corpses, which is an amazing song. It's very memorable. Scott Cole's riffs on this album are so fucking memorable, which is one of the reasons this is my favorite grindcore album, and in my opinion the best grindcore album of all time, really, is that the songs are actually memorable. It's not like a lot of grindcore where it's just 30-second blasts of noise on the guitar and blast beats. The riffs are actually memorable, and the songs have grooves in them, but they're still very short and very fun. If you want something simple... Oh, God, voice cracks. If you want something really simple and fun and pissed off and aggressive and dark, you'll like this. But if you want something more deep that's a good listen that you could sit down and listen to, then you'll also enjoy this. So if you want like a headbanging fest, you'll like this. But if you also want something more than that, then you can also come to this. But yeah, Cheerleader Corpses is fantastic. Scatology Homework has some really fucking cool vocals from J.R. Hayes. He does all this weird shit. If you read the lyrics, it's hard to keep up with what he's saying sometimes. And the way he, like, just the, what's the word? The cadence of his vocals and the way he kind of screams the lyrics throughout the songs is very unorthodox, and it's not very organized, so I think that's really interesting. And yeah, there's some really, like, more punky riffs in Scatology Homework and a Trojan Horn, Ghost of a Bullet, and Heart and Crossbones is also pretty cool. Strangle with a Halo has like a really groovy riff, which is really fucking badass. It almost reminds me a little bit of like Pantera, which is weird. Yeah, Intimate Slavery, another one of my favorites. A lot of fucking blast beats and shit in that song. And there's a lot of blast beats on this album in general. Maplethorpe Grey is another one of the more groovy songs on here, which is really fucking catchy and like almost kind of sludgy sounding. Tickets to the Car Crash, Naked Trees, great. Sheet Metal Girl is another one of my favorite tracks on here. I just really like the way that just the way the phrasing of the song is. There's this really fucking kick-ass riff, and then the beginning of the song, just it sounds very aggressive. The way everything stops, and then he does his vocals for like a second, and then like just blast beats just like shove their way in. Sorry about that. Fucking phone froze, and I got like a little pop-up thing for some reason it kept recording. It's weird. Anyways, fuck. The blast beats just like shove their way in, and it's really fucking weird, but it's cool though. And the rest of the songs are more groovy. The rest of the songs are great. They're like Creature Crawling, Pornographic Memory, Body Scouts. Snuff Film at 11 has a really fucking cool riff to it. Hyperviolet is really groovy and very unique sounding for extreme metal in general. It just has a really interesting riff to it. You have to hear it to understand. It's difficult to describe. Starbelly is like a straight up like sludge metal song. It's really slow, really dark lyrics, and really weird, and it makes you uncomfortable. It's basically his like him telling the girl all this shit, and it's really disturbing and weird and poetic in a way. Junkyard God opens up with just drums, and then when the guitars come in, it's like really heavy sounding, and it's really great. Piss Angel, another one of the best songs on here. Just really fucking heavy and aggressive. I love the way the song opens up. How you just hear that scream, and it just kicks right in with the double bass rolls, and then you hear like a phone ringing for a second, and then someone says hello, and then it kicks back into the song. And then more groovy riffs and shit in the chorus. It's just awesome. His vocals kick ass. And that's one of the things I really like about this album, is that you could fucking hear, I don't know, since you could, after reading the lyrics and knowing the background information on this album, you could hear that shit in his voice, how fucking crazy and psychotic and fucking just fucked in the head he sounds. It's crazy. But yeah, especially on that track. And then, then there's Jennifer 2, which is like the computer voice again saying more shit. And then the album ends, and there's this creepy voice singing something in the background, and then you hear that siren thing again. And yeah, it's weird. And then there's an unreleased track, which is just an instrumental, which is kind of weird. They should put that somewhere in the middle of the album rather than at the end. And that track isn't on the original mix. I'm not sure whether I prefer the original or the remix. I'm starting to lean more towards the original, because the original makes the album sound more dirty and sketchy and fucked up sounding. But overall, this is a 10 out of 10. Even if you don't like grindcore, this is an album you should fucking listen to, because it's just perfect in every way. Concept-wise, it's really interesting. Instrumentally, it kicks your fucking ass, and it's so fun, and you can also never get sick of it. It's just a perfect album, really. So yeah, I just love everything about it. So this is Pig Destroyer with PROWLER in the Yard. I give it a 10 out of fucking 10, and if you have not listened to this, I can't recommend this enough. I feel so sorry for you if you've never listened to this. Because it's one of my favorite albums, like I said. So yeah, very happy that I own this. But that's it for this review, though. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you later. Bye.